Welcome back everybody, my name is Nick930 and today we're going to look at the top 10 best co-op games. For this list we're looking at games that don't just feature a way to play the main storyline with a friend, but games that take full advantage of there being more players and require communication to be effective. There were a lot of games to consider, but these 10 offer the best quality cooperative experiences all around. Number 10, Killing Floor. Killing Floor is a cooperative survival horror game that pits you and your friends against wave after wave of ungodly mutated abominations. Players will need to stick together in various choke points to try and hold off against a variety of enemies while collecting points and spending them on different weapons. The game's class system allows players to specialize with certain types of weapons due to class-specific perks like increased pistol damage for the gunslinger. Picking the right combination of classes may mean the difference between life or death as you hold out for the final wave and fight a crazy difficult boss. Killing Floor is a great co-op experience and a great pick up and play game that doesn't require a lot of time investment. Number 9, Borderlands. Borderlands co-op isn't necessarily the most inventive co-op on this list, as it can be played entirely alone and the game's story will be the same. But this game is designed to be a co-op game, and playing alone means you'll miss out on critical gameplay components like turrets on vehicles and the class diversity that you'll need to stand a chance against some of the tougher enemies. Borderlands 1 and 2 have incredibly deep campaign experiences with tons of available skill upgrades and things to explore, making it an ideal co-op experience. Number 8, LittleBigPlanet. LittleBigPlanet is a creative platforming game that encourages you to play with friends at every turn. Throughout the game's main storyline, there are hidden prize bubbles that grant you access to different objects and materials that can be used to build your own adventures. Many of these prize bubbles can be obtained alone, but there are several that require you to play cooperatively with a friend to unlock. In later games, new characters were added that introduce a whole new depth to the potential for cooperative play. On top of all this, you can also work on level projects together, with one person building the level's logic and designing obstacles, while the other player works on decorating and polish. I spent countless hours working alongside friends and building massive levels that I would have never finished alone, making LittleBigPlanet a must-play cooperative experience. Number 7, Splinter Cell. Ubisoft has had mixed success with the Splinter Cell franchise. With each iteration, they seem to change up the formula significantly, either pleasing fans or really pissing them off. But Splinter Cell Chaos Theory was perfect in every way. Not only did Chaos Theory feature an impressive single-player campaign and an addicting competitive multiplayer, but it also featured its own cooperative experience with several missions designed specifically for co-op. You and your friend would take on the roles of new Splinter Cell operatives, and the missions were designed to take full advantage of co-op, with players interrogating enemies for keypad combinations while the other player entered them in, or one player throwing the other across a long gap. This game's co-op required perfect execution in order to successfully sneak through without being detected, and I loved it. But Chaos Theory wasn't the only cooperative gem in the Splinter Cell franchise. Splinter Cell Blacklist also offered a similar experience with smoother gameplay, a deep upgrade system, and a ton of levels to play with your friends. There was also Conviction, which offered a similar experience, albeit a bit watered down in comparison. Number 6, Payday 2. Payday and Payday 2 are the ultimate heist simulators. These games, especially the sequel, require perfect communication to execute correctly. Players are required to break into various banks and vaults in several different missions, and the success of your team in each stage of the heist can alter what happens later on. In theory, players can sneak through the bank, successfully subduing all the guards and tying up all the civilians. 2 players can break into the vault while a 3rd player is answering the phone and keeping suspicion down, and the 4th player is focusing on crowd control. Every heist plays differently, and the skill of the players you're working alongside can drastically affect your outcome. Number 5, Portal 2. Portal 2 is one of the most polished games I've ever played. Everything about the game's single player is perfectly executed, and the game's story is one of the best in gaming. That's why it's no surprise that the game's co-op is just as good. In Portal 2's co-op, you play as one of 2 robots as you perform various tasks for GLaDOS in Aperture Science. Portal's unique mechanics are made even more interesting with the addition of 2 more portals to work with, making for some great moments where you and your friends will spend time thinking together as you try and overcome increasingly more challenging puzzles. When you finish the game's impressively long list of cooperative levels, then there's a nearly endless choice of community-made levels to play cooperatively, some of which me and my friend had spent hours trying to figure out. Number 4, Trine. Trine is a game built from the ground up for cooperative play. You can play it entirely solo, but you'd be missing the entire point of the game. Trine is a 2D platformer with beautiful visuals that features 3 unique heroes to play as: the Knight, the Wizard, and the Thief. The Knight excels at melee combat and has access to a shield that can be used as a glider for whatever reason to cross long distances. The wizard can craft objects out of thin air based on the shapes the player draws. The wizard can create long bridges and boxes, and this will be required to get past the game's many obstacles. And the thief has access to a rope swing and a bow and arrow that can be used to attack from range. All three characters work in unison in the game's smart level design to overcome obstacles, and there's never just one way to solve a problem. This is a great cooperative game and totally worth playing with your friends, especially trying to. Number 3. Don't Starve Together. Don't Starve is a survival game with an isometric viewpoint and a beautifully done Tim Burton-inspired art style. The ins and outs of this game are incredibly expansive to the point where every death is a required learning experience just to understand how everything works. Don't Starve Together offers the same crazy hijinks, but with more of everything, including players. In Don't Starve Together, you and your friends spawn in a randomly generated world and are forced to ration your food and focus on building together as you brave the seasons and defend against attacks from wolves, pigs, spiders, and giant deer cyclops monsters. If your friends die, their ghosts will haunt you and drive your sanity down until you can sacrifice a part of your health to craft a telltale heart and bring them back to life. Don't Starve Together is an experience you can share with several of your friends, and building a giant fortress together and creating a self-sustaining farm together makes for a great co-op experience. Also, you can force feed your friends rotten food, what's not to like? Number 2. Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a monster of a game. It has an impressive single-player campaign with countless things to do, and an absolutely massive online component that has expanded so much over the year it's almost hard to recognize now if you haven't played it in a while. But the greatest part of the game's online mode is the cooperative aspects. Originally only featuring smaller co-op missions, GTA Online has expanded to allow for some of the best cooperative action in gaming. The Heist expansion added several heists that require cooperative play, and the smart design of these heists ensures that every player is doing something important and critical to the success of the mission. In the prison heist, 2 players need to sneak into a prison and rescue a target, while the other 2 focus on extraction by plane and helicopter. These heists require perfect communication, and attempting to complete them all in a row without anyone dying is one of the most rewarding challenges in gaming. GTA Online has since added even more cooperative content, most of which is available in free mode, and it makes for one of the best open world experiences you can have with your friends. And before I reveal my top pick for best co-op game, here's a few of the other titles that I considered. And my number 1 pick for best co-op game, Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead is a cooperative first-person shooter game where 4 survivors need to make it from point A to point B while crossing through thousands of fast-moving zombies and various special zombies. The game is designed specifically for cooperative play and is the best example of a game that requires communication and every player pulling their own weight. The game is unforgiving to players that split off from their friends, as special infected like the Hunter or the Smoker will immediately pick up on the straggler and attack. The game's director AI controls item placement, enemy placement, and can even change the game's path based on the player's progress and status, making for a different experience every time you play. The game's many campaigns are all short enough that they can be played within a sitting, making for a great game to pick up and play with your friends without requiring a large time investment. And if that wasn't enough, Left 4 Dead also features a survival mode that lets you and your friends try and survive long enough to achieve gold medals in various locations from the campaigns. Left 4 Dead also features the Steam Workshop, allowing players to easily download custom campaigns, making for nearly endless amounts of content to enjoy. Left 4 Dead has remained the best cooperative game I've ever played for nearly 10 years now, and it's remarkable Valve still hasn't gone ahead and announced a third entry to the series. But we all know how great Valve is at counting to 3. And that's my list for best co-op games. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more top 10s posted every week.